I think I'm live. Yay. Welcome to an episode of Witches and Heathens TV. This is part 2 of my poppet making, of my ritual, of my spell work, of my working. So, I will do a little recap of what I did last time, which was on our Sunday school session. That was this past Sunday. So, in that session, we made this beautiful poppet. Now, I haven't completely done all of my rituals yet. Hi! So this was the poppet we made on the Sunday session. This is the lady poppet. Okay. And now I'm taking a pre-existing poppet and I'm going to summon a spirit to take over this poppet and do stuff for me, basically. So it's calling a spirit to be a familiar into your poppet. That's what's happening. Usually, you would build your poppet. This case, obviously, I already have one made. So, like I said, there's a lot of different aspects to this working. Like I said, I can't give out too much information only because, you know, it's working. So I'm giving you the basics of what's going to happen and what we're going to end up doing. So if you need a rundown on how to make one of these poppets, you can find that on our Sunday school session from this past Sunday. We have a video on YouTube and in the group that we shared, and also in the group we did post the step-by-step instructions on how to make this poppet. I'm going to do a quick little run through of how that all happened. Okay, so you have your fabric for your poppet, and this is, again, you're going to be making a poppet basically the same way to do this. Okay, but again, because of the circumstances, I already have one made. But I'm just going to run through real quick in case you missed it, how to do one of these no-sew poppets. So you have a 15 by 15 square. Usually, obviously, you go with the color that you're working is going to be your intention. So this one is black because it is for malevolent. It's one of those kinds of workings that I need black. Okay, so you had that, and then you had another square that was specifically, basically, to make a heart to put inside of your innards. Okay, so we made a nice mixture. What is in this first part 1 poppet? We made a nice mixture of all the fun bad things that we could find. So I had, the list is out there. I already put the list up in our group if you're a part of it. So if you need direction on how to find that recipe on what to put in it, let me know. But you make your little heart with the certain things that are in the recipe, and then you make the head. Now you start with the head, obviously, because that's right in the center. It's in the center of your 15 by 15 square, and you put your raw pork in there that has your name, piece of paper that has the name and all the fun stuff to work the name and kind of say exactly what you want to happen. So obviously this one, it's going to have not so good things happen. But listen, we're not here to discuss morality and all that stuff. I know that each of you that are watching, I know that everyone in our group, we all have level heads on our shoulders, and we all have the right to decide how to use our magic and whom against. Now, the thing is, though, is as long as your intentions are pure, you should be fine. Whenever you put a working like this out there, it needs to be justified, in my opinion. You shouldn't just be doing this to people that, I don't know, made you mad one time, you know, like inconvenienced your life in this little tiny blip of a way. You know, we're not here telling you to just curse everybody, you know, or do a bad working against everybody. Use your energies wisely with everything. Okay? All right, so we started with the head. That was with the raw pork and our little name petition. Put it in there. And some other things, you put thorns in the meat to represent eyes, and then you cover it, you know, obviously you put it inside the head. And then you tie that off first, and it almost looks like one of those ghosts at Halloween that you put like a Tootsie Pop in and whatever, right? And then you make arms, which we did, which again, it does tell you step by step how to do this. So if you need to see it in front of you on how to do this, go to that Sunday session and you will find your answers. Okay, so basically what we did with her was we named her, which like I said, I haven't done my ritual, my real ritual for it yet. I didn't show you guys how to do it, but again, I'm gonna have to go through and do this. I have a lot going on, okay? Whatever, it doesn't matter. So she'll be all set. All right, so once she's named as who she is and her essence. This will be her. Like anytime you're working with Poppets like this, you should be the whole time envisioning in your head that these are people. These are the people that you're doing and working on, whether it be for yourself, for a friend, for family. It doesn't matter. Like always, there's many different intentions you can put into these Poppets. So it doesn't have to always be bad. It doesn't always have to be good, but it can be many different things. But again, in this case, I'm using black fabric. Okay, so she'll be all set once she's all named, and I'll put my mirror on there. You know, this is a standard Poppet that everyone should know how to make. They're very simple, and they can get the job done very easily. Now, with my pre-existing Poppet, he was stuffed with a whole bunch of stuff too, and I will be calling the spirit back that was in it, if it even left. I'm just making sure that this is a fully functioning who I want it to be. Because, like I said, I'll get to the end result here in a second. You see I have my little chair. Usually, when you're doing a working, like calling a spirit into a Poppet, you typically look for a spirit that is willing to enter your Poppet. So, just as a disclaimer, for all workings and all stuff like this, use your own discretion. Obviously, some things are illegal and you shouldn't be doing them. I'm going to tell you what the original recipe calls for. I'm going to remind you that it's illegal and we don't condone illegalness. But this was also written up, you know, it's a familial working, so this has been passed down a bit. So this is based on ancient ways where things like this weren't as bad regarded as they are now. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you the original way, and then I'm going to tell you the way that I suggest. So the most illegal but it's the most preferred way from the ancients is to actually go to a cemetery on a new moon and you walk around with your Poppet and you invite a spirit to enter. Now, while you're in the cemetery, you need to be saying things like, you know, you need to be thinking of what you want. You know, you're putting it out there that you're looking for a familiar in your Poppet. Okay, I am going to read this off the paper just to make sure it sounds right, because clearly I'm not functioning properly. So it says, now that you have your Poppet, you will invite a spirit to inhabit it. There are several ways you can do this. Warning, these things can be illegal. Blah, blah. Our preferred method, which is illegal, so don't do it, is to go to a cemetery with a doll during a new moon and call out to the dead, making it aware you are seeking a familiar spirit. As you walk around, feel for a grave that calls to you. Once you get a strong feeling, go to the grave and ask the dead directly and by name. And obviously you look at the headstone, so it would be the name of the deceased. You say to them, I am seeking a familiar to aid me in my witchcraft. Do you accept? And you say this 3 times, and you should get a feeling, whether it's good or bad. If it's neutral, I say move on. Go to the next one. If the sign is good, you pour a libation of red wine, spring water, milk sweetened with honey, or rum in the sign of an X where the head would be. You listen and feel for signs that the libation was accepted. Once it is, dig a hole big enough to bury the poppet and pour more libations after buried, sprinkling with barley. Leave the doll buried for the next 3 nights. On the 3rd night, dig up the doll and return to your altar, which should be arranged where the night air can touch the poppet, so by an open window or outdoors. Hold on. I'm trying to read here. Okay. Then on your altar, place the poppet on a clean white cloth surrounded by 3 candles forming a triangle. Attach to the poppet a pouch for payments. So this can just be any little pouch. It could be a drawstring. It could be fabric with string. It doesn't really matter as long as it's a pouch that can receive offerings. A small amulet made out of the graveyard dirt collected from the grave containing a parchment that has the name of the deceased, which should be sewn onto the heart, as well as any other charms or adornments that will personalize and secure the spirit. Now evoke any gods or deities that aid in witchcraft and necromancy to witness your rite and embark on the summoning of the spirit. So this is after you've buried it for 3 days. Now obviously the cemetery is out of the question. So what you can do instead of that is you can bury it in your backyard if you have like a nice spiritual place. If you have a friend that has a nice spiritual place that is willing to let you bury something, you can do it in that. If you're local, that'd be me. But yeah, me personally, I will be taking it. Well, you know, we have a pet cemetery back there, and that is actually the grove of trees that has my spiritual tree in it. So that's where I'll be burying this for 3 days. And then once you get it back in after the 3 days, you set it up on your altar. Now, hold on. I'm just going to read this off, and then I'll kind of show you what to do. All right, so you have it in, you put it on your altar, and you're going to summon the spirit. So I'm only going to read a little bit of this because there's a lot of names in this that I would rather just post for you to read yourself, because I don't want to embarrass myself for all these crazy names. So I conjure you, O spirit, and then you put the name of the deceased, to appear within a minute by the power of great bunches of names. See, bunches all down there. That's a whole lot of names. It even continues onto this one. Then you say the names. Be here now, rise up from your grave and live again in this vessel and serve me as I have summoned you to do. Okay? And then you look at your poppet and you say, listen, my words have power. By the watchers who see all, by the gods and spirits, and you can name your gods and spirits that aid me. Your name is blah, blah, blah. You are now blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to say the name of the person. That would just be rude. So you say that. Then you should feel a rush of energy while doing this. Perhaps see the shade and feel the wind pick up. Listen for rumbling, howling dogs, or whispers. Once you are satisfied that the spirit has come and is attached to the doll, keep it out of the sun at all times. Take the poppet out whenever you need a boost while working, or if you need to send a specter to carry out a purpose. Treat the doll as if it were the person and pay it with coins, remember, with your little pouch. Coins, barley, and the occasional libation dabbed onto the doll directly. If you are ever without need for the familiar, you can send it back to the grave by destroying the heart and burying it at the original gravesite. Now, this is just one way to invite a familiar into a doll. If you already have a spirit or want to invite a spirit that is already around you, simply start at the step with the conjuration, omitting the name and adding a mirror to the heart inscribed with a seal or sigil, and the name you wish to call your familiar. Instead of burying it in a graveyard, you can bury it in a forest or better on your own property. When you look to the poppet during the naming, speak its new name. Working with a familiar is about trust and follow through, so do not make deals with it or have it work without payment. As time goes on, this poppet will become a valuable tool and friend in your craft. Prepare the doll with a bone of an animal, belongings, or representation of the person, wormwood, barley, red wine, vine, or Spanish moss, graveyard dirt, busted from the person, although not required, and lay it over the secret seal of Solomon. Okay, so that's what I have here. A super, super fast secret seal of Solomon. So I just wanted to show you guys this plate too. It's pretty cool. I actually got it from Jeff and Alan. They found it at Michael's. It's actually a chalkboard plate. So we've had to use this before to put a seal on, and then you put your poppet on. But then you can reuse it and reuse it. It's really, really cool. So if you could probably even make one if you get like a wooden plate, and then you can get chalkboard paint from Home Depot or at this point on Amazon, because no one should be going anywhere just for some chalkboard paint. So that is the general spell. Now, like I said, with mine, it's going to be just a little bit different because, like I said, I already have my spirit. I already know what spirit is going in there. And the end result will be these two. So, obviously it says that poppets are not supposed to touch the sun, especially when it comes to this kind of energy. So what I will be doing once these are all completed is I will shroud them. So they will have thick fabric over them so the sun doesn't touch the actual poppet. But these will be in the shop, most likely, hanging probably in this general area. You can't see it, but it's up there. And they will be actually sitting in this. They will be bound to this. This is just a vessel for my vessels, okay? Now, what this guy is going to do, now, obviously, part 2 is calling in a specific spirit into this guy, okay? And it's usually to do bidding on whatever you need done, right? So you're familiar. That's what we're getting at. Excuse me. So he is going to be helping me out with her. He is going to be the one. I think he should be sitting holding her down. So they will be bound together. Like so, and then wrapped a bunch of times, and then hung up here. And anytime I feel like this needs a boost, I'm probably going to put a pouch on the chair for him. And I'll be feeding it regularly. And, you know, as long as I need it to, it will be here in the shop. So I think what we'll do is sorry, no, I don't have the coronas. When I go to unbury it, maybe I could do a video, a fun little live video out in the yard of me unburying it, you know. That'll be in 3 days, probably 4 days, because I might not do my rituals tonight. I might do it tomorrow night. We'll see. We'll see. But I'm pretty much almost already there. Hopefully it all works out. Obviously, you know, again, if you haven't watched the first Poppet video that explains more in depth on how to put a Poppet together, You definitely should watch that first. It's like a precursor to the second stage here. But it doesn't look like anyone has any questions though. So this one's going to be a nice quick one. But there's part 2. I think that's pretty much all I have to say about that. If anyone has any questions about this, go ahead and let me know. And I just want to point out again that these 2 poppets have completely different functionalities to them, right? So poppet number 1 that we made is going to be what we like to call the victim. So poppet number 1 that we made, the girl, she's going to be the one that's getting the brunt end of this work. Okay? But, again, to each their own with their magic. We're just trying to give you ways to take care of some problems. It was like, oh, you're trying to get witchcraft? I don't think so. Yes. Have you been watching? Have you missed the whole thing? Because I'm at the end now. Of course. But this isn't the end result yet, but we do have our 2 poppets, right? Like I said, I haven't done my rituals 100%, so I can't bind them up yet. But once they're both named, they will be bound together in this chair and probably hung upside down. Because why not make them uncomfortable? Right? So that is where we're at now. So in 4 days, I'll do a video of me unburying the guy and rejoining him with his new life partner. Yeah, so if anyone has any questions, let me know. You can inbox me or even Jeff, whatever you want to do, if you have any questions. And if you want, share this video, show your support of our awesome local non-for-profit organization known as Witches and Heathens of CNY, which obviously you know because you're in the group and watching right now. But remember, this will be public. Yeah, and everybody stay safe out there. Have a great night, and blessed be. Bye, guys. Until next time.